This is a 200-year-old log cabin. I realize it doesn't look like a 200-year-old log cabin, but wait, I already made this film. Welcome then to a second chapter of video documentation of the dismantling, removal, and relocating of Joseph Sappington's 1816 cabin. I'm going to go ahead and presume you have watched the previous film I did here, and therefore all caught up to speed and have no need for a bunch of tediously useless reiteration. This video chronicles 9 points in a 2-year timeline from August 2021 through August 2023, with contextual date stamps provided. All new, previously unseen footage makes up about 80% of the film, which begins around the 5-minute mark, after a few clips of earlier publishings. The precursor to this video, which is called Forgotten 200-Year-Old Log Cabin Rediscovered in Suburban Neighborhood, is a much more extensive tour of the cabin, along with some organic exposition, all from the day of the final open house. I think these documentations are among some of the very most important and special ones I have done to date, and I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the Historical Sappington Society for inviting me into their little world to make them. One gets a limited chance to chronicle a unique event like this that cannot be replicated or synthesized, which is why these videos are intentionally under-edited, but hopefully they offer a little savory immersion of the time and space in which they were recorded. I'm going to be mostly quiet now so that you might enjoy the video montages, but I'll be back after the final tour of the cabin just minutes before they ripped the roof off, with a lame excuse and apology for a couple of egregious, nearly unforgivable opportunities I missed while recording this process.
How you doing? you love doing it.
That's how cool. I love it. You've got to be quite a foot. I'm making it put that together.
And she researches all this stuff too. She's big into genealogy. We found that different. And we called him from Flat Bunch from the 1700s. Wow.
Plate.
No, that's the lid to a milk container.
Oh, okay.
But it's copper. So that's the really old. They went from copper to
Steel.
the galvanizing tin. But the original was the copper.
It is at this point I must regretfully inform you that I do not have footage of the actual moment the roof was removed. Unfortunately, I had left to chase down my only other invitation of 2022 to that point, which managed to be in the middle of this event and right at the time of the exciting moment everyone gathered to see. I also regret having the idea, way too late, of putting a camera inside the cabin to get a special, one-of-a-kind view of the roof coming off. I could have even set that up while I was gone, but I just wasn't thinking that gutsy at the time. All I can say is thank goodness these films weren't commissioned. However, all is not lost, as I managed to secure a few stills to include here thanks to a fellow documenter. Afterwards, there's a good bit coming up where I take a final tour of the then convertible cabin, and Mark Pratt of Antique Log Restoration explains a bit about what we are looking at. Thanks also to him for his willing participation to be included in these unique documentations of this project. And with that, thank you for watching.
So over here on the footage, this cap log was bad. It looks like water damage to it, so it broke as we were removing the roof. And but you can see the wooden pin, how it was pinned together. So the corners of the cabin, and then where the two logs join, those will be the pins that basically held the whole top structure of the cabin together. Everything else just sits in its notches and is held together by weight and gravity in order to keep it in place. You can see a little bit of the pin in that corner there where the cap log is raised up just a bit. Now up here you can see on the chimney, so it was clear that the roof was built and then the chimneys were added a little bit later, at least, because what they did was where the chimney came in contact with the cabin, instead of using nice dressed, large, good-looking stones, they just put rubble here, where it came up against the roof. And then on the other three sides, which are visible, they use nice hand-dressed face stones to go in there. So when we put the cabin back up, we'll put nice stones back on the inside, just because also it's structurally more sound that way, as opposed to just putting in rubble and throwing some mortar in there and being done with it. So today we'll work on getting the rest of the debris out of the upstairs, and then we'll begin removing logs to get down to the floor, so it's a little bit safer environment to be in here. Interesting enough, with the roof coming off, the lamp stayed intact, which was good. But this room that we're in right now, at one point had been divided into 3 bedrooms. And there were 3 bedrooms, and there were 2 closets in this one room. And so this was just a lamp that was set up in one of the rooms, but it just stayed in place this whole time, and we didn't bother to remove it. There's also a ceiling fan over here that we used, not for the fan portion of it, but it had a light, because cabins are notoriously dark on the inside because of the dark wood and the smaller windows. And here there was a half bath here. There was a window seat here, which had storage, and then they ran some heating and air up through the bottom of that. There was a closet in that corner. Then there was another closet here above the staircase. And of course, everything was covered up in there. There was plaster lath, and then there was a layer of drywall on top of that. And the chimney and both of these fireplaces were covered up also. We uncovered all the 2 fireplaces we have upstairs here. It had all been boarded up and covered up. Now you'll notice, the roof in this cabin had been replaced at one point, and it was put together with square nails, so it was white pine was the rafters. But in both gable ends, the original pole rafters and the original framing for the gable ends is still here. It's all hand hewn, and we will save those pieces as well as the pieces from the other gable end, and we'll make a display somewhere in the refurbished cabin when it goes back up. But those pieces are still original from 1860.